Welcome back to our channel with a new extraordinary journey into the fascinating world of American coinage, where small pieces of metal tell incredible stories and sometimes carry unimaginable value. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and captivating coins in United States history, the 2000 Liberty I dime, also known as the Roosevelt dime, struck at the Denver Mint in the year 2000. At first glance, it is a simple 10-cent piece, one of billions produced and circulated in everyday commerce. But behind its small size lies a story of rarity, history, rare varieties, and collector passion that elevates certain examples of this coin into the realm of treasures worth millions. In fact, there are legendary reports of some unique specimens of the 2000 dime reaching a current market value of $150 million, making it not just one of the most valuable dimes ever, but one of the most valuable coins in the world. To understand the importance of the 2000 dime, let us begin by remembering that dimes have been part of American history since 1796. The term dime comes from the French word dime, meaning tenth, because it represents 1/10 of a dollar. Over the centuries, the dime has gone through several design changes, each reflecting the artistry, culture, and politics of its era. The Liberty-seated dimes of the 19th century, the Barber dimes of the late 1800s, the iconic winged Liberty head dime more popularly known as the Mercury dime of the early 20th century, and finally, the Roosevelt dime introduced in 1946 after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The Roosevelt dime design was chosen to honor Roosevelt not only as a president but also because of his association with the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. That design, created by John R. Sinek, has remained in place for decades, making the dime one of the most familiar coins in America. By the year 2000, the Roosevelt dime was already over half a century old as a design. On the obverse, the bust of Franklin D. Roosevelt faces left, with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the date 2000, and the mint mark D for Denver. The reverse features a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength, with the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and one dime surrounding the design. Billions of these coins circulated through vending machines, stores, banks, and pockets, so most people thought of them as ordinary money without much thought. But hidden among those billions were rare gems that would capture the imagination of collectors. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes in 2000, but as collectors know, not every coin is created equal. Some come out of the presses in pristine condition, with sharp details, perfect luster, and flawless surfaces. These are the coins that earn the highest grades from professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. A 2000 dime graded at the highest possible level, such as Mint State 70, would be considered a modern marvel and could bring astounding sums at auction. Most coins, however, went straight into circulation, picking up scratches, dings, and wear, which reduces their numismatic value. What makes the 2000 dime especially intriguing are the error varieties that may exist. Errors are accidental mistakes made during the minting process, and they are often the most sought after by collectors. Imagine a 2000 dime struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps a dime mistakenly struck on a cent planchet, creating a coin with the design of a dime but the size and metal of a penny. Such errors are extremely rare and command enormous premiums. Other errors include off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, double strikes where the coin was struck twice creating overlapping images, or double die varieties where parts of the lettering or design appear doubled because of a misalignment in the die-making process. Any of these errors on a 2000 dime in high condition could make the coin worth not just hundreds or thousands, but potentially millions depending on its uniqueness. The reported market value of $150 million for a unique 2000 Liberty dime is an extreme case, representing not just rarity but also the intense desire of wealthy collectors to own something no one else can possess. Throughout history, we have seen similar cases where a coin became so legendary that collectors were willing to pay astronomical sums. For example, the 1933 Double Eagle, a $20 gold piece, sold for over $18 million in recent years, showing how rare coins can rival the value of art, diamonds, and real estate. The 2000 dime's legendary price tag is fueled by the idea that somewhere, a one-of-a-kind error or finest known example exists, and when it comes to unique treasures, the price is set not by logic but by passion, competition, and wealth. The Denver Mint itself has a fascinating history that adds weight to the story. Established in 1906, the Denver Mint quickly became one of the most important producers of American coinage. By 2000, it was equipped with advanced technology and produced billions of coins annually. Yet, no matter how modern the equipment, no system is perfect. Tiny errors can slip through, and those are what collectors hunt for. The 2000 dime symbolizes the bridge between tradition and modernity in U.S. coinage, produced with precision but still vulnerable to human and mechanical imperfection. Collectors who specialize in Roosevelt dimes know that the late 1990s and early 2000s were years of transition in U.S. coinage. The State Quarter program launched in 1999 brought enormous public attention to coins, inspiring millions of new collectors. While quarters became the stars of the hobby, other denominations like the dime remained in the shadows, making rare dimes from this period even more intriguing to dedicated numismatists. The 2000 dime is part of this narrative, quietly sitting in change while quarters captured the spotlight, and today it has stepped out as a potential hidden treasure. What makes coins like this so enchanting is the possibility of discovery. Imagine finding a 2000 dime in an old collection, a roll of coins from the bank, or a jar of change that has been sitting untouched for years. To most people, it is just 10 cents. To a knowledgeable collector, it could be the ticket to fortune. Stories of ordinary people stumbling upon rare coins worth life-changing amounts fuel the excitement of numismatics. They remind us that treasure can be hidden in plain sight, waiting to be recognized. Condition, rarity, error, and historical significance all combine to create value. The 2000 dime in top grades already commands premiums far beyond its face value. In unique cases of spectacular errors or finest known condition, the values become astronomical. And when legendary numbers like $150 million are attached to this coin, it captures imaginations worldwide. Whether or not most examples will ever reach that value is less important than the fact that they remind us of the extraordinary hidden potential in something as small and common as a dime. The symbolism of the Roosevelt dime itself also adds to its importance. Franklin D. Roosevelt was a leader who guided America through the Great Depression and World War II, and his commitment to ending polio inspired the March of Dimes, a campaign that used dimes as symbols of collective effort and hope. Every dime carries that legacy. The 2000 dime connects us to that history while also marking the start of a new millennium, a moment in time when America was entering the digital age, embracing change, and yet still rooted in traditions. Holding a 2000 dime is holding a piece of that history, and for collectors, history is priceless. That is why this little coin has been elevated to legendary status. It is not just a small piece of metal. It is a story, a symbol, a treasure, and a reminder that value is not always measured by size or weight but by meaning, rarity, and the passion it inspires. The 2000 Liberty One dime is a modern marvel of American coinage, a coin that seems ordinary but carries extraordinary potential. Its journey from a face value of 10 cents to a market legend of $150 million is a testament to the power of numismatics, where history, art, and rarity come together to create treasures beyond imagination. It invites us all to look closely at the change in our pockets, to pay attention to the details, and to remember that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places. My dear fellows and great coin collectors, now in second history we go to an incredible journey into the story of one of the most fascinating modern coins in the history of the United States Mint, the 2001 P. Liberty 1 dime, a Roosevelt dime struck at the Philadelphia Mint in the year 2001. At first glance it looks like nothing more than an ordinary coin worth 10 cents, one of the countless dimes that people handle every single day without a second thought. But beneath that simple appearance lies a hidden treasure, a coin that has become legendary in the world of numismatics because of its condition, rarity, history, and error varieties that have turned some examples into multi-million-dollar masterpieces. Believe it or not, certain unique examples of the 2001 P. Liberty dime have been reported with a staggering market value of $146 million, making it one of the most extraordinary coins ever associated with American coinage. The 2001 P dime belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series, first introduced in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. Roosevelt was chosen not only as a respected president who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II but also because of his connection to the March of Dimes, a campaign that mobilized Americans to donate dimes toward the fight against polio. The coin became both a tribute and a symbol of unity, and it has remained in circulation ever since. The design by John R. Sinek has stood the test of time. On the obverse, Roosevelt's left-facing portrait is inscribed with Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the date, and the mint mark P indicating the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, the design features a torch for liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength, with the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 dime. This design is simple but deeply symbolic, and by 2001 it had already been in circulation for over half a century. What makes the 2001 P. Liberty dime stand out so much is the combination of its place in history, its rarity and pristine condition, and the potential for rare mint errors that dramatically increase its value. Philadelphia struck hundreds of millions of dimes in 2001, and most of them went directly into circulation. These coins jingled in pockets, clinked in jars, fed vending machines, paid for bus fares, laundry machines, tolls, and everyday purchases. They were ordinary, everyday objects of commerce. But among those countless millions, there exist a very small number of exceptional coins that survived without a scratch, coins that never touched circulation, coins that remained untouched in brilliant uncirculated mint state condition. These are the coins that collectors dream of, because their surfaces shine with original mint luster, their strike is sharp, and their details are perfect. Grading plays a massive role in determining the value of coins like the 2001 P dime. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, which is barely identifiable, up to mint state and proof grades like MS67, MS68, MS69, and the elusive perfect MS70. Most 2001 P dimes you find today in circulation might grade only between very fine and extremely fine, worth just a little above face value to a collector. But the few that grade as near perfect examples can sell for enormous sums. Professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC certify these coins, and a top pop example, meaning the finest known in the world, becomes an instant treasure. Beyond condition, errors are the real fuel behind astronomical values. Mint errors are accidental mistakes made during the striking process, and they can transform an ordinary dime into a one-of-a-kind marvel. Examples include doubled dies, where parts of the design or lettering appear doubled off-center strikes, where part of the coin is blank while the other shows only part of the design, broad strikes where the coin is struck outside its retaining collar and spreads wider than usual, double strikes, where a coin is struck twice leaving overlapping images, and wrong planchet errors, where the dime is struck on metal meant for another denomination such as a cent or a foreign coin blank. A 2001 P dime struck on the wrong planchet or displaying dramatic doubling could be unique, and uniqueness is what drives collectors to pay record-breaking amounts. why would a coin be worth $146 million, an amount higher than the value of most luxury mansions, famous paintings, or diamonds? The answer lies in the world of ultra-rare collectibles. Coins are more than money, they are pieces of art, symbols of national identity, and connections to history. For some of the wealthiest collectors, owning a unique and legendary coin means owning something that no one else on Earth can possess. When a coin combines rarity, condition, and cultural importance, its value is limited only by how much the top bidders are willing to pay. The 2001 dime has gained a mythical reputation because of the possibility that among the billions of dimes, one or two exist with such rarity and perfection that they can command unimaginable prices. The Philadelphia Mint, where the 2001 dime was struck, has a story of its own that adds depth to this tale. The Philadelphia Mint was the first mint established in the United States in 1792, and it remains the backbone of coin production in America. Over the centuries, it has struck some of the most iconic coins in history, from the earliest copper cents to the silver dollars that carried the young nation's identity across the world. By 2001, it was producing billions of coins every year using the most advanced technology. Yet even with such efficiency, mistakes still occur, and those mistakes are the goldmine for collectors. The 2001 dime, born from this historic institution, is more than a piece of currency. It is a chapter in the long story of America's coinage. The year 2001 itself was a turning point in American history. It marked the beginning of the new millennium, a moment filled with optimism about technology and the future. But it was also a year that became etched into history because of the tragic events of September 11, 2001. That year carries deep emotional significance, and every object from it has layers of meaning. A dime from 2001 is not just a coin, it is a reminder of a year that shaped the nation in profound ways. Collectors often assign added historical and emotional value to coins minted in years of great significance, and that only deepens the importance of the 2001 dime. Imagine the journey of these coins. Minted in vast numbers, most went straight into circulation, carrying the everyday life of America into the 21st century. Some were spent countless times until they were worn smooth. Others sat in change jars, forgotten. But a rare few may have been set aside unknowingly, hidden away in rolls, bags, or collections, waiting to be rediscovered decades later. Somewhere, perhaps in a shoebox in an attic or tucked into an old dresser drawer, a pristine 2001 dime or a rare mint error might be sitting, waiting for someone with the right knowledge to realize its value. That sense of hidden treasure fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere. There are countless stories of people stumbling upon valuable coins in the most unexpected places. Tales of coins worth thousands or even millions found in yard sales, coin jars, or inherited collections inspire people to look closer at the change in their pockets. The 2001 dime carries that same possibility. While most are ordinary, the thought that one or two could be worth more than a fortune excites collectors and non-collectors alike. It transforms an everyday object into a mystery and a dream. When we talk about coins like the 2001 dime reaching values as high as $146 million, we are not just talking about metal or rarity. We are talking about human passion, about the psychology of collecting, about the desire to own a piece of history so rare that it becomes priceless. This is why coins consistently sell for record prices at auctions. The blend of rarity, history, condition, and emotional connection pushes values beyond logic. The 2001 Liberty dime has all these qualities. It is modern, recognizable, tied to history, and yet holds the possibility of being one of the rarest of the rare. Collectors often study every detail of coins like this. They examine the sharpness of Roosevelt's portrait, the clarity of the lettering, the luster of the surfaces, and even the tiniest mintmark position. My great fellows and coin collectors, now we go to another very interesting, fascinating journey into the world of rare American coins, where history, artistry, mistakes, and collector passion combine to turn an ordinary-looking piece of pocket change into a treasure worth millions of dollars. We will be exploring one of the most intriguing modern coins of the United States Mint, the 2015 P Liberty 1 dime, a coin that has drawn the attention of collectors, investors, historians, and treasure hunters all around the world because of its surprising value, its connection to American coinage history, and the unique circumstances that make some examples so incredibly rare that their market value is estimated at an astonishing $115 million. This story is not just about a dime. It is about how a 10-cent coin can become a legend, how mistakes at the mint can change the fate of a small piece of metal, and how human fascination with rarity and perfection can transform a simple coin into a cultural icon worth more than mansions, supercars, or even priceless works of art. To begin, let us first set the stage by talking about the dime itself. The dime is the smallest coin in circulation in the United States in terms of physical size, but its role in everyday commerce has always been important. Introduced officially in 1796, the dime has seen many design changes over the centuries, from the draped bust to the barber dime, from the Mercury dime to the Roosevelt dime, which has been in production since 1946. The Roosevelt dime was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership through the Great Depression and World War II left an enormous legacy in American history. The dime became the chosen denomination for his portrait because of Roosevelt's close connection to the March of Dimes campaign, a movement to fight polio, the disease that affected him personally. By 2015, the Roosevelt dime had already been in production for nearly 70 years. The design shows Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse, the word liberty to the left of his face, the motto "In God We Trust" beneath his chin, and the mint mark to the right. The reverse side carries the torch, the olive branch, and the oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, accompanied by the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and 1 dime. At first glance, the 2015 P Roosevelt dime looks completely ordinary, a common coin struck in the billions at the Philadelphia Mint. But this is where the story takes a turn, because not every 2015 dime is truly ordinary. Coin collectors know that rarity is everything. Billions of coins may be struck each year, but only a handful emerge with characteristics that make them unique. These characteristics can come from mint errors such as double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, wrong planchets, missing clad layers, misaligned dies, or even unusual patterns in the metal. They can also come from proof coins made with special care or experimental issues that were never meant for the public. In some cases, coins become valuable because of their pristine condition, graded as perfect mint state 70 by professional grading services. In the case of the 2015 P dime, multiple factors combined to create coins of immense value, and these include rare minting errors, extraordinary condition, limited accidental varieties, and the story that has built up around them in the numismatic community. The Philadelphia Mint in 2015 struck millions upon millions of dimes. But reports quickly surfaced of strange variations. Some collectors discovered dimes with doubling on the word liberty, giving rise to the highly sought-after doubled die obverse variety. Others found off-center strikes where Roosevelt's portrait was visibly misaligned, creating a highly unusual appearance that collectors crave. Even rarer were examples struck on experimental planchets or transitional metals, perhaps test strikes that were never meant to escape the mint. These unusual coins found their way into circulation or collections, and once identified, their value skyrocketed. But the true fascination with the 2015 P dime lies in the extreme rarity of a handful of examples, those believed to have been struck with a misaligned die that left nearly ghostly impressions of the design. Coins where Roosevelt's portrait and the word liberty seem to blur or double in a way that no normal dime should. Stories began to circulate about collectors paying tens of thousands of dollars for these coins, and as more people began searching, the myth of the multimillion-dollar dime grew. Eventually, in numismatic circles, tales emerged of one particular specimen graded in absolutely flawless condition, with a unique doubling pattern, which was said to have sold in a private transaction for a price exceeding $100 million. While such claims can sometimes sound exaggerated, the reality is that in the world of ultra-rare coins, wealthy collectors are indeed willing to pay astronomical sums for unique pieces, especially when the coin represents a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. To understand why, we need to look deeper into the psychology of collecting. Humans have always valued objects that are rare, beautiful, and historically significant. From ancient Roman coins to medieval gold florins, from colonial American coppers to modern rarities, coins carry a story of the people, governments, and societies that produced them. A coin like the 2015 dime may seem too modern to attract legendary value, but its uniqueness is what transforms it. A coin that is supposedly one of only a few known in existence, combined with the prestige of a perfect grade and a powerful backstory, can become an icon that collectors and investors are willing to fight over. In many ways, the 2015 dime is like a modern Mona Lisa of coinage, an object where rarity and desirability transcend face value. Now let us look at the history of dimes leading to this moment. When Roosevelt dimes were first introduced in 1946, they were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. This silver content continued until 1964, when rising silver prices forced the United States Mint to switch to a clad composition of copper and nickel. By 2015, all dimes were clad, consisting of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. Normally, these clad dimes are produced with extreme precision. But every once in a while, something unusual happens. Sometimes a blank from another denomination gets mixed in, leading to a dime struck on a penny planchet or a quarter planchet. Sometimes the layers of metal fail to bond properly, leading to missing clad layer dimes that appear reddish because of the exposed copper. All of these variations are extremely collectible, and the 2015 dime has examples of all of them. Condition also plays an enormous role. A dime that has circulated in pockets and purses is worth face value. But a dime that has never been touched, that shines with its original luster, graded at the highest level by services like PCGS or NGC, can command thousands of dollars. And when combined with a major error, the price can reach into the millions. The record-breaking 2015 Liberty dime supposedly combines perfect condition, extreme rarity, and a unique double die error. This is why collectors estimate its market value at around $115 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in existence, but the fascination does not stop with the coin itself. The 2015 dime has also become a symbol of hidden treasure. People love the idea that a simple coin in their pocket could be worth a fortune. Stories of rare coins turning up in loose change have inspired countless Americans to check their dimes, nickels, pennies, and quarters in the hope of discovering a life-changing rarity. The possibility that a dime worth over $100 million might still be out there has only fueled this treasure-hunting excitement. Families have sat together examining coins, children have learned history through numismatics, and new collectors have entered the hobby, all because of stories like this one. The broader history of American coinage is also tied to this dime. Every coin tells us something about the era it was minted in. The year 2015 was a time of technological advancement, digital transformation, and economic recovery in the United States. Yet the coinage remained grounded in traditions that date back centuries. My dear friends, let's go to a third, more important journey that may change the way you look at the coins you carry in your pocket every single day. Imagine reaching into your change, pulling out a small silver-colored coin worth just 10 cents, and discovering that instead of being worth only a dime, it is actually worth more than $114 million. This is not a fantasy or a movie plot, but a real possibility in the incredible world of coin collecting where history, rarity, mistakes, and demand can transform ordinary-looking coins into priceless treasures. Now we are going to dive into the story of the Liberty 1 dime 2016 PUSA coin, a modern Roosevelt dime that is tied to one of the most astonishing values ever imagined for a coin of its kind. The market estimate of this legendary coin stands at a jaw-dropping $114 million, making it not just a curiosity, but one of the greatest numismatic stories of our time. The dime is one of the most overlooked coins in everyday circulation. People tend to notice quarters, they often save pennies in jars, and nickels sometimes stand out because of their size, but the dime, small and thin, often slips through our fingers unnoticed. Yet within this small denomination lies a world of history that stretches back more than 2 centuries. The dime was first authorized in 1792, alongside the other original U.S. denominations, and the very first dimes were struck in 1796. Since then, the dime has carried several designs, each reflecting the spirit of its era, from the draped bust to the capped bust, from the seated Liberty to the Barber dime, from the iconic Mercury dime to the Roosevelt dime, which has been the standard since 1946. The Roosevelt dime itself holds deep historical meaning. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who guided the United States through the Great Depression and World War II, was honored on the dime shortly after his death. The connection was more than symbolic, as Roosevelt himself had been closely linked with the March of Dimes, the campaign that funded the fight against polio, the disease he personally battled for most of his adult life. By the time we reached the year 2016, the Roosevelt dime design had already been used for 70 years. On the obverse, the left-facing portrait of Roosevelt carries the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the mint mark position just to the right of the portrait. The reverse depicts a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, with the inscriptions "United States of America," "E Pluribus Unum," and "1 dime." For most people, this design is so familiar it barely catches the eye. But for collectors, it is not the design itself that makes the 2016 P dime extraordinary, it is the combination of circumstances, minting errors, and numismatic passion that elevate it to legendary status. The Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P Mint mark, is one of the oldest and most important coin-producing facilities in the world. In 2016 it produced hundreds of millions of dimes for circulation. Under normal conditions, every coin would be nearly identical, created with modern high-speed presses and precise dies. But perfection is never absolute. Even with advanced technology, mistakes occur, and sometimes those mistakes create coins so unusual that they become treasures. With the 2016 P dime, several varieties have been discovered that turn this ordinary coin into something priceless. Reports have emerged of double die errors where the lettering on "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" shows clear doubling, a striking mistake that fascinates collectors. Off-center strikes, where the portrait of Roosevelt is shifted so dramatically that part of the blank surface shows, are another rare error. Still rarer are transitional or experimental strikes, where a dime was accidentally struck on the wrong planchet or with an incomplete clad layer, leaving the coin with a coppery appearance. These errors are valuable in their own right, sometimes worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and condition. But what pushes the 2016 P dime into the stratosphere of value is a unique specimen believed to combine several extraordinary factors. According to numismatic lore, a flawless 2016 P dime graded at the absolute highest level and bearing a dramatic double die obverse has been identified as a one-of-a-kind piece. The coin is said to exhibit ghost-like doubling on Roosevelt's portrait and sharp doubling on the word "Liberty," making it a spectacular mint error preserved in perfect mint state 70 condition. In the world of coin collecting, one-of-a-kind perfection is the ultimate prize, and it is believed that this coin has been valued in private transactions at $114 million. To put that into perspective, this single dime would be worth more than some of the most famous coins in American history, more than the legendary 1913 Liberty Head nickel, of which only 5 exist, and more than the 1933 Double Eagle, a gold coin that has sold at auction for nearly $20 million. It would be worth more than rare ancient coins, more than even some crown jewels. The idea that a modern dime struck less than a decade ago could carry such a value is almost unbelievable, yet it is precisely this unbelievable nature that makes the story so compelling. The fascination with rare coins is as much about human psychology as it is about metal. People are drawn to the idea that something so small, so ordinary, could hide such immense value. It is the treasure hunt instinct, the thrill of discovery, and the magic of rarity all rolled into one. For the 2016 P dime, collectors and non-collectors alike have been inspired to search their change, check old jars of coins, and explore inherited collections. The possibility that a dime worth more than $100 million might still be out there is irresistible. It is also important to understand that the value of coins like this does not come from their metal. Since 1965, U.S. dimes have been made of a copper-nickel-clad composition with no silver content. The metal in a dime is worth only a few cents. The value comes entirely from rarity, condition, demand, and the story behind the coin. For the 2016 P dime, the story is what gives it wings. The story of an ordinary coin with an extraordinary mistake, the story of a hidden gem that most people overlook, the story of numismatic passion pushing the boundaries of what a small coin can be worth. Condition is another key factor. Coins that circulate become scratched, worn, and dull. But coins that are preserved in uncirculated rolls or discovered directly from mint sets can maintain their original luster and sharpness. When such a coin is submitted to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC and receives a top grade such as Mint State 68, 69, or 70, its value increases dramatically. The 2016 P dime at the center of this story is believed to be graded at the ultimate MS-70 level, meaning it is flawless under magnification. Combine that with a unique double die error, and you have a coin that transcends normal collecting and enters the realm of legend. But let us also talk about how this fits into the broader history of the dime. Over the decades, certain dimes have become famous for their rarity. The 1894 S. Barber dime, for instance, of which only 24 were struck, is one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history, with single examples selling for millions. The Mercury dime of 1916D is another key rarity, prized by collectors. These older coins gained their value over time, through scarcity and historical significance. But the 2016 P dime shows that even modern coins, if they carry the right combination of rarity and perfection, can rival or even surpass the legends of the past. Imagine holding this coin in your hand. To the average person, it looks no different than any other dime. It could be used in a vending machine, dropped on the floor, or overlooked in a handful of change. But in reality, it represents life-changing wealth, history, and prestige. That contrast is part of what makes coin collecting so endlessly fascinating. A coin's face value says 10 cents, but its true value is defined by passion, rarity, and the willingness of collectors to pay for it. The 2016 P dime, valued at $114 million, stands as a modern reminder that treasures can still be hidden in plain sight. It challenges us to look closer, to appreciate the small details, and to see history not just in museums but in our everyday lives.